Put that down.
And last fall, I got a call from Mark Reiner, and he said, hey, look, we've got a real great opportunity for you. I'm from the Dream Car Giveaway program, and if you know anything about that, that's where usually they'll take a classic muscle car or a classic car. We've done some other cars as well, and I'll let them tell you a little bit more about it. But they'll take a classic, and then they'll take the modern interpretation of that classic, and they'll pair these two together, wrap them up in a sweepstakes, and sell raffle tickets for it. And what those tickets go towards is obviously to the cars, but they also go towards some charitable organizations too. So this is really muscle cars with a cause, so to speak. And so he said, we have got an outstanding car that we want to bring over and show you, and then see if you can help us put something together to be the modern equivalent or the modern portion of this puzzle. So I'm going to introduce to you Mark Breiner and Patrick Meehan, and they'll tell you a little bit about the cars and the program, and then we'll have a little unveiling, and I hope you like what you see.
Sounds great.
Yeah, Mark's our CEO and a car guy, car racer. He's done it all, build them, raced them. So Mark.
And Pat, come on over on this side, because I want to talk about, Eric kind of gave a really good preview of what you're going to see. And we're going to unveil this car in just a second. As Eric said, we're with a company called DG Group. We're a direct response marketing agency, and we own a brand called Dream Giveaway. And Dream Giveaway is used to create national promotions that have high-profile promotional partners but benefit charity and are well-known among the automotive enthusiast community. As Eric said, we've done some other brands. They've been very successful, and so we want to unveil the car first. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the specifics of this car and the giveaway itself. So this car is a 1971 426 Hemi Challenger, and 1971 was the last year of the 426 Hemi Challenger, and it was a very rare car. They built 70, and there's some argument as to whether they built 71 or 70, but 70 is usually the quoted number. Got it? Yeah. And this car was built for one purpose, which was pretty much racing at the time. It was a 426 cubic inch, two 4-barrel carburetors, 425 horse car. This car in particular was ordered with the pistol grip 4-speed. There were 58 of those made. In addition to that, it's a radio delete car, and a couple people have asked me about radio delete. Well, shouldn't that be cheaper? And yeah, it was cheaper, but the purpose was to reduce the weight, and the car was built for racing. The motor was what you wanted to listen to, not the radio. So that's kind of how these were built. This car, I'll open the hood so when you get a chance you'll be able to see it. But it has a unique history as well. It was owned by, at the time we were able to acquire it, it was owned by Randy Lerner, who was the owner of the Cleveland Browns. And he had just sold the Cleveland Browns, and so he had an interest in reducing his collection. He owned the car for about 20 years. It was inspected by Galen Govier. Some of you probably have heard the name before. He's probably the preeminent classic Mopar expert in the country. And he authenticized the car, and we ended up acquiring it for this giveaway. And that's kind of what where Eric started, is we had acquired this car knowing that this is kind of like the ultimate dream for any Mopar enthusiast, any automotive enthusiast, but in particular Mopar enthusiasts. So we brought this car and showed it to Eric, and I think he kind of got the same feeling right away, like, you're giving this car away? And that's exactly the feeling we want. People enter these giveaways because they have a passion for the prize. They love the idea that they're helping charity, but the reality is they're in it to win it. They love the prize, and so it's important that we create a prize that you can't just go down the street and buy. And when we unveil this car, you're going to see that that is in fact the case. So as you can see, you might be able to buy this car, but it's probably way out of the reach of most people and most automotive enthusiasts. So it's going to give you an opportunity for somebody to win. One winner gets both cars. They're not split up. And part of the reason for that is because we worked so hard to make kind of a fast-forward version of this classic and kind of respect the heritage of this car while including the technology. This car got, if you were driving Spirit in a spirited way, you might get 3 or 4 miles to the gallon. And that's for real. I mean, it's got two giant gas-sucking 4-barrel carburetors. Gas was 1971, 35 cents. Some of us old folks remember that, even, I hate to say it, I remember when it was lower. But that's just, it wasn't a big deal at the time. So people who were interested in racing, this was the ultimate dream. And there weren't many of these, even in 1970, which was, they made more of them, and even, before that in some of the other body styles. It was pretty rare to see a Hemi car back then. And when you did, it kind of instilled a little bit of fear. I used to race a Corvette. I was kind of scared when one of these cars, I'd see one. So it was a lot of fun, and these cars are legendary. And quite frankly, Chrysler has probably made better use of a brand than anybody in the world with the Hemi. I think you guys know it. Some of you probably wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for this car, the Hemi. And so it's really interesting to see how that brand is so important to the auto enthusiast. Kind of moving from this car, let's kind of talk about this one.
Well, we're unveiling it. This has 22,000 original miles. And a few years ago, at the peak of the enthusiast marketplace, this thing probably could have sold for
$500,000.
So appreciate what you're looking at.
So I think that Chrysler has a lot of car guys that work here. And Eric being one of them, I think immediately latched on to what we were trying to achieve. And so did the guys at design as well. So the idea was, as we said, to create a fast-forward version of the original car, but it had to be something that was really different and special. So obviously the design feature of that car that's obvious is the Plum Crazy paint, a legendary color along with a couple other crazy colors that Chrysler used to come out with. The Plum Crazy car had to be Plum Crazy. It had to have lots of horsepower. So with the help of SRT providing a 6.4 shipped down to Arrington Performance to be modified by boring and stroking the motor, putting forged internals, making it capable to accept supercharged boost. The car has a Edelbrock supercharger provided by Edelbrock. Motor's making at the flywheel around 700 horsepower, about 575 right now to the rear wheels. Easily tweakable to a little bit more if you need a little bit more. Mopar performance parts included a lot of the parts that make this car what it is. It has the full coilover suspension. It's got the upgraded exhaust, the pistol grip shifter to match the famous pistol grip of the classic. So it really is I think a great respect to the original, while at the same time bringing technology. And this car, with its overdrive transmission, cruising, easily could get 20 plus miles to the gallon. And at the same time, quite frankly, that car was capable, off the showroom floor, low 13s, maybe with a set of slicks, you dip it into the 12s. This car would honestly eat it for lunch. But it just, just is a tribute to the technology that's been developed over the years. Not only technology for power, but technology for fuel economy. You can do that while having the air conditioning on and the cruise control and listening to the radio. It's got a radio. So it's pretty interesting. We'd love for you guys to take the opportunity after you have time to come and look at the car.
At some point, you have to start them both.
Oh yeah, we'll have to start them because they sound totally different. It's interesting. There actually is a connection here, besides that I didn't mention to you guys, an induction connection here for you mechanical guys. We have who's from Edelbrock? Where's the Edelbrock? Okay. Do you know what the connection is? You probably do, but okay. Carter AFBs, which are on that car, those were the carburetors that came with that car, and I can rebuild them in my sleep. I've used it. That was like a big great carburetor to race with because you could change all the metering rods and stuff right at the track without taking the carburetor apart. But that's another story. But those carburetors are now marketed as Edelbrock Performance. That's right. Edelbrock induction, Edelbrock induction. Really. So it's kind of a neat
How
heritage.
cool is that?
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, so let me talk about the Dream Giveaway just for a second. So we create obviously a pretty expensive package of cars that you can't go down the street and buy. We had $50,000. We print 12 to 15 million brochures that are distributed nationally through Outbound Packaging and Summit Racing or Cabela's or Sears. So when you get one of those packages, you open it up and you see these, and hopefully you'll enter. And you'll enter because you want to win, and you'll enter because maybe you want to help some charities. So the entire promotion of this nature, we probably spend in the neighborhood of $1.6 to $1.8 million to market it. You know, in doing that, we obviously hold the charities harmless. So if for some reason it didn't recover that cost, our company is on the hook for that. But if we do better than that, the charities get money either way. But the point is, we take the risk, we market it nationally, and ultimately it benefits 5 great charities. It benefits, hopefully, you guys from a promotional partnership standpoint. It's a great tool for gathering data, because if you have these at a race or an event, when people get one of our brochures, and usually we give bonus tickets. So if they're at an event, it'll say 2 bonus tickets with a $20 donation, compliments of Chrysler. So when they fill that out, that data is captured, it's fed back to you guys for remarketing efforts. But in doing so, the data is pure, because everybody is not going to give you the wrong email address.
They're in it to win.
They're not going to give you the wrong phone number, because they want that call, believe me. And those are some of the most fun calls to make. We've had great winners. We've had a 28-year-old state trooper won. We did an event that benefited the military, and a disabled special forces guy won. It's just kind of like meant to be. But along the way, it's been great. And anything else you want to?
Yeah, well, a year ago we did an outdoor giveaway, and we used the Ram truck and some really cool prizes, a Ranger boat, and an Evinrude motor, and a camper on top of this amazing truck. And it's so interesting because that one was won by a Brigadier General, and we've had some wonderful winners. And you know, donations are like $3. They can write them off. And early on, when we started to build this brand, we got feedback real quickly from folk as we would show the cars or whatever. Someone would come up and they said, well, you know, I'm not going to enter because I'd have to sell one to pay the taxes. So you heard Mark say we include in this giveaway $50,000 with a rounded up formula to the winner to cover their federal withholding. So whoever, regardless of their economic status, that wins the pair of cars can keep them. They wanted to sell one. We can't control whether they keep them. Sometimes they sell them, but ultimately this is the program that we have, and it's been accepted nationally. We get some entries from out of the country, some Canadians enter, as well as we've had some Europe people enter. So it's fun. We love what we do. So,
you guys have any questions?
So, and I'll just say that, you know, we got Mopar to kick in a few things as well and make the motor what it is. We turned to Arrington, and this is Eric Herza.
He's going to tell a little about what the motor is.
And, but so this promotion runs from now, basically I'll reveal at the Chrysler's Carlisle.
Right.
So there'll be a big splash there, and that'll be the public reveal. But then these cars will be basically available, and they'll be promoted from now until May of next year. So you'll see this a lot of places. So if you're a car guy, if you've ever, or gal, and if you've ever purchased one of these tickets, you'll be on their mailing list. You'll be able, you know, you'll get one of these new things in. It'll be in the back of magazines, and you'll see this on the web. If you go to winthemopars.com, you'll see a nice splash page which has information about both cars, the partners, the charities, and that kind of thing. So it's really, not only does it serve a great purpose, but, you know, it's a way to, you know, to tell people about the great news about Challenger. So
there you go. Go ahead, Eric.
So, Eric, thank you very much. All of you that built the Challenger, what a fantastic platform. There is so much downstream that happens to the car that you guys create. I was at the SoCal 2 years ago, the LX Festival, and Ralph talked about this car and some of the other SRT cars as being a canvas, and that these individuals get the opportunity to create their art on the canvas. And our job, we're under the hood. For those of you that don't know about Arrington, probably the fastest way to tell you this is that Joey Arrington, who was Buddy Arrington's son, and Maurice Petty are the two individuals most responsible for getting the Hemi engine banned in NASCAR, because nothing could keep up with them. And the company that we represent here, Arrington, is the direct offshoot of that effort. So we've been a partner with Dodge and Chrysler since early 1960s. Most recently, Mopar put out a request saying, look, we want to have some people that have the ability to do engine calibration, and to do it in a way that is first and foremost safe, because there were some real issues with people that were really capable of doing the calibrations in the correct manner, and they were producing not safe vehicles. They said, first of all, it's got to be safe. Second of all, it's got to be very sensitive to the environment and to the regulations that exist on the federal and local level now. And finally, they've got to be fun to drive. And so our company and one other was selected to be what they call the designated calibration partner. And so we're building cars, engines, and as small as this cold air kit for the vehicles that you all produce into the enthusiast market. And that's an important market. 26% of the Challenger buyer is going to make some modification to this car from the moment that he buys it to the first 3 months. 50% are going to make some modification before the first year is over. So talking to that enthusiast performance aftermarket customer is a really important customer to be talking to. And this is a perfect entree into that market. As he said, it's pure. These people want to talk to you. There's no more rabid enthusiast than the Mopar enthusiast. So they're there to help, and we're
Mopar
here
or
to
no
help.
car.
That's right, Mopar or no car. Under the hood, powertrain, calibration development, we want to help with whatever you need. Concept vehicles, anything. All right?
I think we, anybody have any questions, or should we fire him up?
Fire 'em up.
All right, let's hear the 426 class.
So 3 miles per gallon, 20 miles per gallon. This is a rocket ship right here.
That sounds a little different.
I think I'm in love.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a fun run.
Yeah. Any questions from anybody? On this one, 426.
426.3. It's a 4094 on a 4050 stroke.
All right, well, come up, take a look at the cars, ask any questions that you have, and enjoy.